Well, good afternoon, guys. We are here for another favorites video today, and yes, this is the last one this week. So if you guys have made it this far, we only have one more to go before we're back on the regular schedule. Anyway, folks, a buddy of mine, Chris Harper from Skills2Survive, he asked me to do a video, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 months ago, to do a video on my 3 favorite bushcraft knives. Now, guys, before we go any further, I just want to say that I have had the pleasure of meeting Chris in person at Blade Show last year, and if you guys get the opportunity to meet him face to face, don't pass it up. He is a really good guy, very nice, and it was a pleasure to meet, pleasure to hang out with him for a little while. So Chris, thank you for tagging me in this video today, and I look forward to seeing you at Blade Show again this year. Anyway, guys, like I said, we're here to talk about my 3 favorite bushcraft knives, which is a pretty hard question to tackle, but hang with me and we will try. Alright guys, welcome back. Thanks for being here today. I appreciate you choosing to spend your time with me. Well, first I want to address a couple questions I've had in recent days. Why so many favorites videos in a row? They're getting really old, man. Well, guys, I apologize. These are videos I've needed to get out for, in some cases, for quite a long time. Like I said, this one's been in the works for about 4 or 5 months. I just haven't had the time to set aside to do a talking video, a show and tell video, more so than a gear review or, basically fulfill requests, whether from review companies or from you guys. But now, like I said earlier on in the week, I'm not at 100% right now just because of medical procedure. I'm almost there. So after this video, you can expect to see my regular schedule again, but this was a perfect opportunity to spend this week while I'm not 100% to go ahead and fulfill these obligations. Obligations isn't the right word. These are a lot of fun. I'm glad I'm having the opportunity to do them, but this was the perfect time to do them. Back to back, make it kind of boring. I don't know. It's up to you guys, but anyway, thanks for choosing to be here. Anyway, enough background yakking. Let's talk about the subject at hand. My favorite 3 bushcraft knives. That is a really difficult question to answer, and so Chris, I'll be honest, bud, I am going to kind of sort of deviate from your requested theme today. I am going to show off more than 3 knives today. However, I will nail it down to my 3 favorite bushcraft knives, but I want to kind of broaden the subject a little bit so maybe you guys can understand why I chose what I chose just a little bit more. So why is it such a hard question to answer? Well, several reasons really. Number one, and the main problem being, I have a lot of knives. A lot of guys would say I have way too many. What can I say? I consider myself a collector and a user at the same point in time. I refuse to have a safe queen knife, that is, but at the same point in time, I have a lot. And so choosing between a lot of knives makes it really hard, especially when you consider that knife technology, metallurgy, knife design, construction, the modern advancement of tools which allow knife makers to make such minute refinements to their work really allows a lot of folks to put out a lot of great high quality blades that are good designs, that are constructed really well. And so when you pull out the term bomb proof or high quality or rock solid, a lot of manufacturers meet that criteria these days. So it's really hard to choose when you have a lot of high quality knives which ones are your favorite, because there are a lot that work really well. So all that to say, guys, when you're trying to nail down a favorite, it doesn't come down to craftsmanship, it doesn't come down to manufacturing quality, it doesn't come down to steel really. It all boils down to personal preference, and which is why I'm going to show you more than 3 knives today, but the first 3. So I have forced myself to nail down 3 to give you today, but I am going to show you a few more that fit the same criteria. However, with just minute changes in the design or a little bit mixed with my personal preference, kind of knocks them out of the running, even though they are the exact same high quality as the 3 I'm going to show. Enough yakking. I know you guys are tired of hearing me talk. Let's show off some knives. Well guys, let's tackle this hard question. My 3 favorite bushcraft knives. As you can see here, there's 4. That is because 2 of them are the same knife, just different grinds, and honestly I can't decide which one I like better. So I'm going to show them both to you. But we'll count it as 3. I took Common Core math, what can I say? Before we go any further, what are my criteria for a bushcraft knife? Well, number 1, the blade needs to be about the 4-inch mark, give or take a little bit. I don't mind either direction. The handle needs to be nice and comfortable, and the blade needs to excel in 3 different areas. Number 1, it needs to be good at firecraft. Not necessarily chopping down trees or anything like that, but as far as light batoning, splitting, making small fine kindling out of larger pieces of wood. It needs to be good at notching for like bow drill sets, hand drill sets, stuff like that. It needs to be good at feather sticking and other various firecraft activities. Number 2, it needs to be good at crafting. Crafting as in camp craft, making tent posts, making camp chairs, making notches for, you say, primitive trapping sets, stuff like that, whittling spoons. It also, and lastly, in this area has a little bit of fudge room in my opinion, it needs to be good at camp cooking. Now notice I didn't say it has to excel at like cutting meat and cutting vegetables and stuff like that, because I mean honestly guys, most bushcraft knives, and this is my preference too, is the blade width is about 1/8 of an inch wide, which is a lot wider than your typical kitchen type knife for your home, which means it's not going to be able to make those fine paper thin like cuts quite as easily as a super thin kitchen knife like you expect to see in your house. But anyway, those are the 3 areas that, in my opinion, that a good bushcraft knife needs to excel at. So with that in mind, these are my choices. Now these 2 are the exact same knife, and honestly, like I said, it's just a grind difference, and so I can't really make up my mind. Both of those are LT Wright Genesis. As you can see, the profile, everything is pretty much exactly the same. This one is a flat grind, and this one's in Scandi. Both of these are excellent knives. This is my first real bushcraft high quality knife that I owned. I absolutely fell in love with it when I got it. I still love it to this day, and I have said it several times on this channel, and I probably will never stop saying it. The LT Wright Genesis is, in my opinion, one of the best bushcraft blades on the market today. So like I said guys, I can't choose which one I prefer. It just depends on the day. Sometimes I'm in the mood to use the flat grind, sometimes I'm in the mood to use the Scandi. It really, I can't make up my mind. But like I said, it does fit the criteria. It has a blade that's just a hair over 4 inches, if my memory serves me correctly. The handle is extremely comfortable. The broomstick style handle is probably my favorite style. We'll get into that a little bit later, why that is. My next choice is another LT Wright knife. And this one is the LT Wright Jesmuk. This is the brainchild of Chris Tanner from Prepared Mind 101. Now this one fits the criteria, extremely comfortable handle. It has the cutting edge, I believe, is 4.5 or 5 inches, but the handle and this large belly sweep are really what make this unique. This is Chris's take on a Nesmik style blade. I've used several Nesmiks, and this belly sweep is a lot steeper than what I think is a traditional style Nesmik, but it does work really well. This knife is an extreme pleasure to use. This handle is beyond comfortable. Even after a long, hard day of camp crafting, firecraft, stuff like that, there's absolutely no hand fatigue, no hot spots, nothing on this handle. I really like it a lot. Chris came up with something special here, so this definitely is in my top 3. Now you guys have likely seen all 3 of these in several different videos. This one in particular you've seen in a lot of them. Now the next one you guys have seen rarely. One of the downsides to reviewing a bunch of knives is that you hardly ever get to use your chosen knife, because you're constantly testing out new knives. So in the testing process, at least for me, I go through my normal activities, whether taking the kids out in the woods or going on walks, doing whatever. I take out whatever knife I'm going to be reviewing next, usually. And so this one, I'm not going to number these 2, whether first, second, and third, but I am going to number this one. This is my favorite knife, and it should be. This is my brainchild. This is my take on a good bushcraft knife. Notice it does have the broomstick style handle. It does have a 4-inch blade. It is Scandi with a minute secondary. It does have a pretty significant recurve. The blade profile is a mix between a Woodlore style blade and a Kephart style blade. Again, with that recurve there. Now obviously my comments are going to be a bit biased because this is my design, but this knife is built by Joe Honeycutt from Black Feather Knives. Hopefully at some point in the near future you guys will get to see this a little bit more. I think this has made it into 2, maybe 3 videos at some point, but this is definitely my favorite bushcraft blade. But like I said, it is my design. I fully realize that my opinion is going to be extremely biased there. Get you guys a close-up of this. Anyway folks, let's get these out of the way, and I will show you the extras I was talking about. Alright guys, these are just 2 examples because they allow me to explain my thinking the best. I do have others that would fully qualify to be here. But anyway, this is a quick hatch trapper. Britton Good made this for me. This is actually a prototype model. His production does have a few changes. He's changed the handle shape a little bit. He's toned down, let's get this, he's toned down that corner just a little bit because it kind of digs into your thumb there if you're having to stab wood or something like that. But you know, no huge complaints. I love this knife. I love the profile of it. It is a little bit thicker than a traditional bushcraft blade would be, in my opinion. However, his bevel, his Scandi bevel here, has really toned that down. It makes it perform like a thinner knife. I love this blade. Fits the hand great. This blade right here, it is a Black Feather Raven. Again, going back to Joe Honeycutt and Black Feather knives. This knife, it is simply gorgeous. Let's get it in the sun. I think you pronounce this Ambroya. The wood scales on this. He had this at Blade Show last year, and I absolutely fell in love. And so, obviously, it decided to come home with me. My wallet jumped out on its own volition, I swear. But anyway, as you can see, the actual cutting profile is pretty similar to the Genesis. It is a little bit longer of a blade, but I mean, it is a slightly different design, but overall it functions just as well as the Genesis. However, the handle is a little bit different. Now I will say, for light work, just to hold in your hand, it is extremely comfortable. But when it comes down to personal preference, what I mean by that in handle styles, guys, it's me. A lot of you guys know I work in IT, which means I run a keyboard, and I've been doing that for the last 15 years, which as an unfortunate side effect means that I've picked up a little bit of arthritis, especially in these two knuckles right here. Well, there's an indent right there, which just to hold it, it feels great. An absolutely fabulous feeling handle. So after a long day of batoning and doing a lot of hard work where I really have to set my grip on this knife, my knuckles do get sore, which that is why my preference is for a broomstick style handle or a thicker handle back here. Give my fingers more to grab onto so they don't have to work quite as hard to hang onto the knife and provide as much control. The harder those knuckles have to work and the longer they have to work, the more sore they're going to get, which is why, you know, I absolutely adore this knife. It just, because my minor arthritis, after a given period of time, it does start to hurt a little bit. So all that to say, folks, if I didn't have a little bit of arthritis, this knife would be in the top 3, no doubt. All right, guys, well, there you have it. Those are my 3 favorite bushcraft knives with a few extras thrown in there just for good measure and try to explain my thinking just a little bit. I appreciate you being here today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful in some way, maybe in choosing a knife that would fit you. Guys, if you have any questions on these knives about maybe which would fit your personal preferences better, please go ahead and hit that comment section. Ask me specific questions. If you're not comfortable with hitting the comment section, feel free to email me. It's joe@ferrellwoodcraft.com. Don't hesitate to contact me, guys. I'll answer every email. I do my best to answer every comment. It may take me a day or two. I am a pretty busy guy. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me. I know it may be boring for some folks, but I do appreciate your time and clicking on these videos and watching them and spending your time with me. I do appreciate it very much. And lastly, guys, if you found the video helpful or if you just enjoyed it, please do hit that like button. I would appreciate it very much. Also, if you haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button below here. I would appreciate that very much. Also, guys, if you have a chance, if you liked it enough, go ahead and share it too. I would appreciate you helping get the word out about my channel a little bit. And lastly, guys, I will see you next time. Have a great day, guys.